Radio Arcane.
Dark, eclectic music.
Listen to my word and remember them well. When the moon is down and the night is dark, the blood in your veins will boil and burn. Your hands will do the work of the devil.
Welcome to Radio Arcane, the podcast, number 13.
Spooky.
The Kentucky Vampires.
Spookier.
I'm Brian Drabant.
I'm Motuvius Rex.
I'm Gothic Bastard.
Kaleidoscope.
Sorrow Vomit.
Bleh.
Abbas.
Zach.
All right.
Yeah.
So we started off with Daughter of the Morning Star because that's obviously the most popular song by the Kentucky Vampires. And then we're going to get into some other stuff, which, by the way, these are all coming off of the new vinyl. So the mix is a tad bit different. It's been mastered by None. Do you know his name?
It's Tyrannus.
Yeah, Tyrannus, and I can't remember the other. other guy's name?
There's lots of bands called None too. There's a
The Merciful.
Australia. Well, there's like a band from Australia that's like a minimal synth type band. There's a
it's his name is Tyrannus MB Genesis, as far as I know on Facebook. I am friends with him on Facebook, but I don't know him from Adam, as most of my friends on Facebook that I don't know at all. But if he came in, I'd know who he was because he has a very distinct look.
And Francisco and Pedro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So None as a whole,
They all
mastered
did something. Yeah.
They
mastered it.
the album for vinyl.
Yep.
And so the songs are a little different than what was released on Bandcamp previously in digital format only. And in my opinion, they sound a lot cleaner, a lot more. It feels like the guitar tracks are separated a little more. It's a little clearer.
Some oomph.
So basically, everything tonight's, even if it's an older song, it's still a new mix. And then you guys, and I guess I'm the bass player, and so me too.
I guess. I mean,
Maybe not after this interview.
I'm not used to saying we. I'm used to saying like you got you. So, but we have 3 unreleased songs that are in demo right now that they're going to be coming out on an EP before we release a full.
We're gonna get a taste of any of those tonight, or
yeah, we're gonna play 3 unreleased.
Oh my god!
Demo tracks from the new EP, basically.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So they will sound different because they are going to be mastered by Brandon Pybus from Sonsombre, and they have not been sent to him yet. So these are rough
cuts.
Rough cuts.
Yeah.
But it's just to give people an idea, knowledge that we are working on new stuff. It's not just stagnating. It's just taking a while to get everything complete. And that, I guess tonight too, we will play maybe some None. And do you know if that's how it's pronounced? Because it's N-U.
stands for something.
It's an Egyptian
and then it's colon, and then it's in.
It's like nothing. This stands for like nothing.
Nothing.
So nothing maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's an abbreviation.
It's an acronym.
But when you say it, how do you pronounce it? Do you say None?
I always say None, but I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, and they're from Portugal.
Yes.
But we don't know. So apologies, guys, if you are possibly listening. Thank you for all your hard work. And I apologize for not knowing how to pronounce your band's name properly.
You're fucking terrible.
None your business.
And I guess we may play some Sonsombre or something tonight too, to tip our giant, large cowboy hat towards Brandon for his Gothic professionalism, for helping us out. I don't know. So anyway, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Yeah.
Still waking up from the jet lag.
So this remaster, I guess, is basically a remaster of the self-titled album that you guys put out last year, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Secret Sin approached us wanting to do vinyl for us, as basically the agent we work with approached us as a fan. And he just said, I really would like to have your album on vinyl, and, would you guys be interested in that? And we started talking about it, and, we, at the time, were working on the second album and basically said, we have this in the works. And they're like, well, what if we do your first album first, and then when you guys are done with the second album, do that on vinyl and CD also. So that's sort of the plan. Is it's been taking a long time because I think Secret Sin has never released a vinyl, so there's been some learning curves, and we have the test pressing now, as you heard. So
Nice.
We do have the test
There's
pressing.
always a delay.
yeah, it seems to take a while.
Always.
Yeah. Finals.
That's what I was telling him when, I've watched on social media so many bands that release albums on Bandcamp and vinyl, and it's like everybody pre-orders, and then it takes forever because it just, I guess
the demand is so high for vinyl right now. And there's not enough plants to kind of keep up with demand. I mean, there is new plants that are coming online, but I think it's still sort of running behind because vinyl's. I mean, I just saw something the other day that vinyl for the first time since like, I don't know, the early 90s is overtaking CDs. Yeah, this month, I think, for the first time in 30 fucking years or whatever. So
I vastly prefer vinyl to collect.
Yeah,
vastly.
So something about it, just the plant came back and said, well, we gave the thumbs up on the test pressing, and they essentially said that there's an imperfection that none of us can hear in this at all. So we really appreciate their extreme attention to detail, apparently, and gave us the option to either go ahead with the imperfection possibly in there or wait for new platters. So we opted to wait for a higher quality product for the customers and everything,
nice.
So the fans.
Smart move.
Yeah. So that's what's taking so long.
I would rather wait for what I want than to get something early and be disappointed.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I agree, I can't tell from that anything's wrong.
Yeah.
But if they hear it, I'm cool waiting.
We are happy that they are hearing things we can't hear. So,
and sometimes those imperfections. I mean, I've listened to things on some speakers of mine at home that you can actually see like there's some like low frequency that wasn't cut out, and it's like making the woofer just go, but you can't hear it. So it could be something like that as well.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I have no idea what kind of high fidelity kind of system they have, to listen to these things either. So.
Ooh.
No, well, I mean, we usually welcome people to Louisville, but we're all from Louisville, so
yes.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Louisville.
Yeah.
Crisp beer.
I'm from Indiana, so.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Jeez.
Kentuckiana.
Actually, I'm from Indiana too. I was born in Indiana. I was born in South Bend. Lived there for like 6 months or something. That's it. So. Sorry to myself as well, I guess.
Well, Zach is actually a Hoosier too.
Yeah, I was born in Virginia, but I grew up in Indiana.
I'll collectively apologize for the three of us. So.
We're called the Kentucky Vampires, but actually Zach is an Indiana vampire.
Yeah, and now a Floridian vampire.
A nomadic vampire.
Yeah. I'm a wherever I am vampire.
It's good.
any chance that there's going to be a copyright issue with the other Kentucky vampires?
You mean the serial killers?
Yes.
How many people did they kill? Was it just one?
It was, I think, really just one. It was a horrible.
No, it was
two?
it was a
couple, an older
family and
couple.
a couple on the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did not know about that.
But it was
when I
brutal.
chose the name for the band. Just
No, yeah, that's like
I'm not trying to like honor some terrible things.
right,
Yeah.
right, and it was horrible. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I don't like to honor that kind of crap either.
Yeah.
So that's just a coincidence. But yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Indeed. Seriously.
Yeah.
So let's play one of the new tracks. And actually tonight, I guess we could also play a few maybe homages to Secret Sin, to maybe an Angels of Liberty track or something too. I don't know. Yeah. Somebody, Mary's Funeral or somebody. We'll figure it out.
Cool.
Snake dance.
For now, you guys want to do a little sample of a new one with maybe like start off with a different shade?
Sure.
Sound good?
Yep.
I see you look at me in your shadows, wake at night.
All right, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we were having such a in-depth conversation during the song, and now nobody knows what to talk about.
Well, that's all right. I mean, we'll get there.
Well, we
so
talked about instrumentation.
we did talk about it. Yeah. So what's the current kind of, well, at least lineup, I guess, is who's playing what and who's doing what, and
Yeah. So Sean is playing bass for us.
Motuvius.
Get it right. Jeez. Yeah.
It's Motuvius Rex, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's only if he crashes.
Hey, man, Motuvius is way cooler than Sean. I mean, as a character.
Fair.
It's easier to be a character when you're in a project than to just be your old boring self sometimes.
Right. Do you use that name like if you're playing video games online?
Sometimes, but I do have other names too, like Felix86 or Delvin Root. It depends. I mean, I have different games. I do like to game, but I am not an online gamer. I mostly do solo RPG games like Fallout and Skyrim.
Yeah.
Do you use that name in job interviews?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, considering I don't apply for jobs anymore, then no.
Because you live in a van.
Do you use that name when you're getting carry out? Like,
I got sick of having bosses and said, "Fuck that shit."
Fuck the system.
Does Lisa call you Motuvius?
oh, Motuvius. Oh.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
So,
nobody can see right now, but Sean's very red right now. So yeah, no, he's not. I'm kidding.
And not just in the Kentucky way.
I'm not shy. But if you come to my house at the wrong time, you can all see me naked anyway. I pretty much never wear pants at home unless we have guests. So
it's good to know.
But the guests have their pants off.
Well, my dad was a nudist, and
you mentioned this the other day. Yeah,
he's kind of a hippie.
It's cool
artist dude, and he always told me when I was a young man to always call before we came, because unless you want to see your father in the nude.
So you'd have to stop and find a payphone whenever you're out?
Well, I mean, we're from Kentucky, but we didn't want to get that weird, where we were comfortable around each other as a family naked.
Did he have a
That's kinda
special
weird.
name too?
No, his name's just Harold. Or Harold Wayne. As in Kentucky, Harold Wayne.
Wang?
Harold Wang.
When he was naked, Harold Wang.
How apropos. Yes.
So
let's let these guys talk about our recording process instead of my naked father.
Moving along.
We're not
moving along.
Yeah, so first album, I did all the instrumentation, and Abbas had added some little things here and there in a couple of songs. This album, we tried to do since all of us live in 3 different corners of the United States, I tried to basically, extend Sean to write some bass, and there were some issues for me being able to write to that. So I just said, you know what, I'll just sit down and do this. So I just did it the exact same way I did the first album, wrote bass, guitar, drums, synths, everything. And then in the end, basically took out my bass lines and sent all of this to Sean for him to reinterpret, redesign, rewrite. And then, of course, Abbas is doing vocals, lyrics, all the creative ideas from that standpoint. And then we custom tailor the song around what works for his voice. So if he's like, well, I need more of this here, or this section is too long, or whatever, we just cut and chop it up and redo everything to make it work for him. And this is, of course, sending files back and forth across the internet and critiquing it along the way all the time, and making changes that either of us would suggest. So ultimately, it's I'm trying to let Sean have more creative freedom, so he feels more of a part of the band and everything. And I think that he writes stronger bass lines than I do, as he's more of a bass player than I am. So it's ultimately better for the band. And then going forward for the next album, we're looking at adding a real drummer to the mix as well. So
yeah,
should be interesting doing that over the internet. But we'll see how it goes.
Fortunately, Tom has purchased some drum triggers too, and
is Tom doing it with you guys?
Yeah,
Tom is going to be the new drummer. As far as we know, it's starting that way.
You're going into the third album.
Yeah,
into the third album. Yeah.
If I was going to do an album with a drummer, that's who I would pick.
Yeah.
Well, like if we play live around the region for a bit, at some point, Tom's been really busy too, but he will probably be playing with us, hopefully, and not always to backing tracks, but we're not 100% sure yet on. It's one of those, like, we want it to happen if everybody can make the time and get it all, make
we
it
have
all
to flesh
together.
it all out. So.
I mean, we know Tom's an amazing drummer, and that he
ultimately, I imagine, just write the
it.
drums how I always do, and then send it to him and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Probably just so I can write instrumentation around that, but that's probably what will end up happening.
So how was the movement around the country? How did that come about?
My wife doesn't like Kentucky weather. She's from Mexico, and Florida kind of came up as a possibility. I was trying to move to South Carolina, and it basically just fell in my lap on accident to move there for work, and I just entertained the idea, and then they expressed interest, so just kind of took the
Relocated.
plunge, basically. Yeah. Sold my house and packed it up and moved. So,
Where in Florida are you at?
Daytona Beach.
Okay,
on the
cool.
northeast coast.
And you're in Washington State?
Washington State.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
okay.
far.
What brought you out there?
Tacoma.
Okay. Well, what brought you out to
Oh,
Tacoma?
sorry. Yeah. So my wife Amanda, she's a medical professional, and was offered a traveling job. She works in the blood bank
Okay.
in the labs, and so she was offered a job that was good to come down.
Yeah, sure.
And so they were like, but it's in Washington State. And I've been out there before, years past, to work. And so we drove out there 5 days.
Yeah, it's a long one.
And it was an interesting ride, but it was
Like 40 hours or something, or what?
45, 50.
Yeah.
Holy
yeah. It's a
Lord.
long one.
So-
It's a long one.
We were just bitching about driving back and forth to Florida because I used to live in Florida too, and I went to college down there, and like that drive from here to Florida is what, 13 hours maybe?
Yeah, 14.
Well, to Sarasota it is, I think. But
14 for me.
Texas,
Okay.
17.
well, 45 you said.
That guy tops it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
45 is a lot.
saw some cool stuff along the way, and so we're living it out there.
Nice. Cool.
We did not see anything cool along the way. Just Georgia.
Peanut fields,
Atlanta.
Yeah.
peach tree, everything.
Yeah, peach that, peach this, peach pass.
You get to go through the Great Smoky Mountains area almost, kind of, not really. But
Not really. Chattanooga.
Chattanooga,
Yeah.
Mont Eagle. It's like the kind of like tail end of the mountains. But
You get to pass Dinosaur World.
No, you don't. Oh,
Cave,
you came from a different
you didn't come
direction.
through Cave City?
oh, yeah, you're right. You do. Okay, I'm
you-
sorry.
yeah.
That's always nighttime when I
missed
come.
it?
Well, that's where I'm from, man. I'm from
Dinosaur World?
Glasgow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, John! You're from Dinosaur World?
Well, I'm from Barron County, and that's where Cave City is, and
Okay,
that's where
okay,
Dinosaur
all
World
right.
is. But yes.
I got really excited when I thought you might be from Dinosaur
me too.
World.
well, there's a
You
lot
are
of,
Rex.
there's a lot of amazing
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh my
there.
God, it's a good point.
Huckleberry Hill. And,
Sense of conspiracy.
I do too. Jeez.
What, Kentucky Down Under, too, right?
Yeah.
I had a buddy that worked there. Oh my God. That's not a fun place to work.
I'm sure it's not.
No.
I doubt there's many fun places to work in that part of Kentucky.
No, there's not.
No.
That's why I'm here.
I bet
Yeah.
Funtown Mountain would have been fun to work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I think that went well.
Yeah.
Wash the paint.
So, as far as composing goes for the future, when we do work with Tom, how are we going to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've been thinking about it a lot. So I mean, as far as writing for the album, I don't think it's a big deal. The practicing for shows is going to be an issue. Because normally, this is, well, I don't know. Well, it's a lot of questions we need to work out. And
Well, Tom and I are rhythm section, so we can
Yeah.
kind of just work together here.
yeah,
At least some, I think.
the Kentucky Vampires tradition for playing shows is really no practice. We all kind of do it on our own, and then we show up like before the show and run through the set one time, and then get on stage.
That's
and do
exactly
it again.
how it was. Trial by fire. The first show I played with them, it was like, I think I had like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It was awful to learn. Like, what did we do? Maybe 10 songs that show. The first one, I think, something like that.
Give or take.
Yeah, probably
8 or 10. We tried to do a cover, and it was like, oh my god.
It was yeah.
But it
Where was it?
quite impressive.
Yeah.
Nonetheless. So it was
What did we cover? Dead Souls.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it was definitely a lot to bite off. Like to learn all their music in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I write bass lines real easy though. So
They're not that easy though. They're deceptively easy. The thing about his bass lines are they have no breaks. They are driving, which I like. You know, it's got a Craig Adams, early Sisters kind of do type, and I that's what I was weaned on. A lot of that.
yeah,
But you need breaks.
No, but I am old and I haven't played bass for quite a while.
Yeah.
And my wrist needs practice.
So on the first album, I wrote it around the bass. I wrote the bass lines for every song first, and the bass is intended to carry every single song.
No pressure, Sean.
Yeah.
No pressure.
This new album
Well,
is
that one, we're over that one.
Yeah, this new album is very. I wrote all the guitars first, and then wrote the bass to reinforce.
So I wrote
guitars.
I mean, I've got my own bass parts for this new album. So I'm playing myself instead of just playing him.
Yeah,
Which is it's in a way easier because it's me, but in a way harder because I think I probably do more weird things than he does with bass.
Do you feel like that's sort of changed the dynamic of the band to a degree? I mean,
Well,
or
at
maybe
first-
at least the sound. To
At first,
to a
it
degree.
changed it too much, and I wrote a bunch. Like initially for this album, I think I wrote the first 4 songs, but I actually told Zach, I'm like, you guys have a fan base, and it has you guys have a sound, and I felt like I'm a very new. I was weaned on new wave, and so like I felt like it had an almost new wave influence on it, and
yeah.
I think it was hard for them at first to want to play over my stuff. I think it was easier for me to play over theirs.
Yeah, it was hard for me to it just was so different than something that I would have wrote or did anything, and then it was really difficult for me to come up with things, and I think it slowed us down a lot. And then when I just said, I'm just
Sean.
it's not his fault, it's absolutely my fault, but I just said, this is taking too long, and I'm just gonna do it the old way, and we'll figure it out, and just to get some momentum going.
I'm a melodic bass player, and I think when I compose music, I compose with drums and bass first, and then I play guitar too, but I add guitar.
Bass solo, yeah.
Well, I mean, everything that I wrote for them is now going to be in my own project, which may happen or whatever. I don't know, but I don't feel like the songs were weak.
They're good. I just
They
couldn't figure out something for them, I guess.
Well, we experimented even with your stuff.
Yeah.
For the part of the summer where we were, because I think like I had a more dark wavy, new wave sound, more synthy sound, that Zach was composing some stuff, which I liked it. It was great.
Yeah.
But it's like we might have to do a side project for some of it because it was too different
And that
to be the Kentucky Vampire.
that might happen also. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And he is extremely prolific. Like, he's like, once we started doing that, it was like some of them were really good, but then it was like we decided it was a little too different, and so he had like 15 songs done in, like in no time. Like,
Just hammer it out.
yeah,
No, I mean, as Abbas and I have talked about possibly doing a side project. It's really, really dark, wavy stuff, and this album is different than our first album. The first album is really, in my opinion, really death rock, and this album is more. I listened to a lot of '90s goth rock when I was writing this album, and it's more in that vein. But I also wanted to keep elements of death rock in it, so it isn't such a dramatic shift from what we've established already. But there are some more slower and darker brooding kind of stuff going on, and there's several songs that have guitar solos, which is really new to me also. So
well, and you've experimented with 12-string guitar.
Yeah, there's 12. So yeah, I used let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different guitars on this album, and
drop tuning.
Yeah, different tuning. Yep, and almost every song has two different guitars recorded on it. So yeah, and
more probably synth a little bit, but not. It still sounds like the Kentucky Vampires now. Yeah.
Less theremin on this one.
Yeah. I think it's a little less campy, which I love the first album, but I feel like.
Well, I mean, I wrote it intentionally to be campy because I always viewed death rock as being intentionally campy.
And it was great. So. I mean, it's like old school horror. You know, that's what I mean. I love my artwork my visual artwork is essentially spawned on Sir Cecil Creep, the late night horror host in Nashville. You know, so like I love old classic horror. Yeah, and that first album feels like that. It's like it has a silver screen feel. Yeah, you know, I like that. I do like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Let's play another tune.
Let's do it.
Let's see. I'll figure it out.
Woo!
Can you sing it?
We'll play something that's not Kentucky Vampires for a second.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Let's play None. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing it.
And
So we're back.
Yeah.
That was None. I think it's awesome. They have a very varied sound, so I don't think that totally represents their sound. It's just, I love that song.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different, they're one of the bands that kind of, they can do some almost acoustic-y type stuff and then do some really kind of romantic, dreamy stuff like that. I don't know.
A broad palette, as it were.
They do have a broad palette. Yep. But I like None.
I like the guitar.
And that song, I like the guitar on that a lot. And it honestly, like I said in the beginning, not entirely, but it sort of reminds me of the better era of the Mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it kind of, that song does. But now the rest of their music doesn't necessarily sound at all like the Mission. But that song to me has almost a Wayne Hussiness to the vocals, and it's pretty classic kind of Gothic sound. Yeah. What you got to say, Sorrow Vomit? So sleepy. It was a long day. For people that don't know, we spent the whole day doing a photo shoot at Gothic Bastard's amazing house and at Auerbach Mansion, which is an old haunted, totally vacant home from the 1800s in Louisville, West Louisville.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I was not there. I'm the only one that was not there. So thanks, by the way.
Yeah.
You
said you were busy.
I was busy.
You missed Gothic trampoline
Yeah.
action.
Oh, yeah, right. I heard.
Tired
Yeah.
because he fell through
But
the trampoline.
we did start early today, and we went late. I know Abbas is like, I've got to drive back to see my family in Versailles. Let's get this shit over with.
Versailles.
Yes.
We know it's
exactly.
Versailles, but in
Yeah.
Kentucky it's Versailles.
Right, right.
Not to me, it isn't.
Yes, agreed.
Snob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your snob?
Cultured, actually.
Versailles. Yes, exactly. I'll
I say
agree.
Versailles.
Yeah.
We know it's Versailles, but in Kentucky, if you say that, you sound.
Versailles.
It's Versailles.
There's also in Indiana, there's
It's like, what are you?
Milan,
Some kind of uppity
like
city
Milan,
slicker?
Milan, yeah.
So it's for sale.
Yes,
I can buy it.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and Munfordville is Munfordsville.
So let's talk about a little history of the Kentucky Vampires,
Ooh.
because I think some people don't know about that.
Sure.
And you started off with Albie Mason from Scary Black
Yes.
as the vocalist,
Yes.
and Abbas, who is the singer now, this is incredible too. And I was impressed when I actually started with you guys. Like, Abbas was the bass player, and he'd never really done vocals before, and it was just like, I'm going to give this a shot. And it's like, you have an amazing voice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
You do. You have a great. It's strong. I mean, it's like,
Yeah. I think
it's just really good.
when Albie left the band, I was ready to just be like, well, it's time to start over, a new band name, everything, and he said, well, let me see what I can do. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, pretty down about it all. And he sends me this clip of him singing. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I'm just blown away by how really well it is. I mean,
And not only, I think, a very, I don't know what, accomplished seems like the wrong word, but because you haven't done it for that long, but
Right, yeah.
a very solid vocalist. But you're also like a mind-blowingly good lyricist.
yes. Yeah.
And I'd like to know, even because, we talk, but we haven't talked about a lot of things, but where do you draw the influence for your lyrics? I know that a lot of them are historic. I know a lot of them come from the horror thing, but a lot of them are from people in history.
Right.
Was it Elizabeth Bathory
Yes. The Queen of
Yes.
Bathory.
and the Strago Witches?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a history buff, and I'm into esoteric things and
Cool.
things of ancient times. And,
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that tends to kind of repeat, it's when, women of that time are, kind of face some pretty hard things back then, like they do now. So I just thought I'd tap into that a little bit. And so, yeah.
But you've changed your approach on this next album too, right? Like you're writing
I
differently.
went a little more personal to a degree, but it's still kind of, one of those things that kind of applies to almost anything, things people deal with, in their lives and whatever. So that's just what I tapped into.
Yeah. It's great though.
Yeah. So.
I mean, the first I'd heard you guys around a little bit, but when I really had to learn the songs, I started paying more attention to the lyrics though, and I'm like, holy shit, these are so in depth. But Zach was telling me even when he would send you music, like when with Daughter of the Morning Star, like or Moonlight Kiss, like you'd send the music and then he'd send you back this thing, and you're like,
oh yeah, I remember the first time he sent Moonlight Kiss was like the first verse and the chorus and then nothing else. And I was working in Lexington, which is like an hour and a half drive from Louisville. And I listened to that over and over and over again for an hour and a half. And I'm just like, God, I want more. Like, this is amazing.
It's really good.
It's really, it's interesting to I make this thing, and I have this idea what it might sound like. And then I give it to him and he sends back this thing that I never could imagine. And
he doesn't like when I do that.
Yeah.
Verse and a chorus.
Well, so one thing that Sean may have noticed, and it's probably something irritating, but when I write the songs, I name them the date that I wrote them or that I started on them. So
it's confusing.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
But my intention for this is because I don't want to put any idea, not that I could or would, but I want him to see it fresh with no idea of what I think.
No preconception.
Yeah, no preconceptions whatsoever. So then he's
that's
totally
cool too.
Open to whatever
totally
he feels. So
yeah,
that's cool. I mean, it's interesting as well. I mean, you've actually had some pretty major shuffling, instrumentally within the band. I mean, we're talking. Yeah, I mean, all three of you have played bass, correct? Is that right?
Correct. I played on recording.
Yeah,
well, so technically, if you don't count me, I think Sean is our 7th bass player.
Yeah,
that's true.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
it's cool though. I mean,
bass. How low can you go?
Yeah. I don't count me as a bass player. I mean, I'm in the recording on the first album, but the second album I won't be. So, yeah,
I'd count you as a bass player. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I liked his bass. That part of why I liked that first album. I'm like, that's good bass. And my own personal style influence people. A lot of it was like Peter Hook and I don't know, Will Heggie.
Yeah,
Cocteau Twins.
Yeah,
even Simon later.
Yeah, Simon Gallup is a big one for me. And I don't know his name. The guy from Duran Duran. I really love that guy as a bass player.
I mean, I was weaned on John Taylor, but I was never that funky.
Yeah.
And he plays with 2 fingers, and I started off in punk bands with a pick. So I can play with fingers, but not like John Taylor. That motherfucker's good.
Yeah.
It's like Mick Karn of Japan, maybe a bit too, I mean, sort of.
Yeah. I mean, David J. too was another bass player that I always just was blown away by. And he played a fretless, and I really love his sound, but I'm like, I do not play like that,
Yeah.
But I've liked a lot of other styles of music too, and like Chris Squire from Yes, which seems kind of weird, but I mean, Chris Squire was a big influence for me. It's prog rock, it's not goth at all, but man, that motherfucker is a great bass player. And I kind of related to his style. It's weird how it is with bass, like it's not always like one person's more skilled than the other person. It's like just some people are more like how mechanically like that you feel that more.
Yeah.
Stylistically different.
Stylistically, yeah.
Style and feel.
It's like, because I was definitely weaned as a teen, a young 12-year-old on like Duran Duran, and I would try to play that shit, but I'm like, I do not have that John Taylor style at all.
Yeah. I mean, I play a lot of octave stuff, and that comes straight from Duran Duran.
Well, I was telling you guys on that first song, when I don't remember which, we haven't even titled it yet, has a name, but like I do kind of a cross pick muffle.
Oh, yeah.
And I got that shit from Lee Gorman from Bow Wow Wow. It's
Wow.
like, and he started out with Adam and the Ants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, they were the punk crossover with some of that early new wave is very noticeable, you know. And I don't know, I liked there were a lot of great rhythm sections in a lot of that early new wave.
I mean, think of how much better Sisters of Mercy would have sounded if Flea was the bass player.
It would have been terrible, like the worst. and you know, he might be amazing, but I just like
I'm totally joking.
Yeah, I know, but it's like slap style is just
the whole
like.
way.
Now, but I have to say though, like I've never been a fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers, really.
Oh,
Never.
I like their old stuff.
Yeah,
the original stuff.
But
yeah, the early.
But as far as slap goes, though, I
Pre-Mother's
did grow up with Nick Beggs,
that one
man.
too.
Nick Beggs from Kajagoogoo, who is an incredible fucking bass
Yeah.
player. But some of that stuff, you know, it's kind of so lightweight. But that dude could have been in any band. He's fucking sick. I know he did some recording recently with Alex Lifeson from Rush played on it with him. But anyway, I think we do have a broad, different types of influence.
Yeah.
It's not just punk and gothic and.
Yeah.
Are we gonna play Rush next?
Fucking mine, man.
I don't care about how well someone can play an instrument at all. I'm just looking.
I agree.
I'm just looking for a feeling. You can play.
Exactly.
I agree.
Sound.
I get that.
I fully agree.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, early Joy Division is terrible.
Yeah.
And I love it. Fucking
Yeah.
love it. You know?
That's a good example.
Like those guys could not fucking play for shit as far as keeping in time hardly, you know, and it's like, and it's amazing. What they made was fucking genius.
Well, I mean,
and
And
incredible.
part of that is due to the production, I think, as well. I mean, how that was produced.
don't know, man.
Martin
I think
Hannett.
it's
I mean, if you've ever like read bits about how they produced those albums, they're really incredible. I mean,
It wasn't he like standing in a field recording silence to put in the mix and stuff?
I mean, that's
Like,
probably
really
an
strange.
exaggeration, but I know using
Yeah.
like aerosol cans to make
Yeah,
like
yeah.
snares and shit. I mean, like, really interesting production techniques on those albums.
For me, that's
on
not it at
Closer
all,
and-
though.
and
Like
No
for me,
Budget.
it's the melodic hooks, man. It's Bernard Sumner and
totally,
Peter Hook.
totally.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not for me. Everybody's all Ian Curtis. I'm like, nah. Bernard Sumner and Peter Hook.
I really like.
I mean, I'm like those
Peter-
motherfuckers.
Those records
man.
for me are melody. I mean,
melody.
Ian Curtis'
Totally
voice is
melody.
incredible.
I
But,
love it,
But I mean,
but-
you look at New Order. I mean, their very first album after that movement, and it's
Fucking
very
didn't
much
miss a beat.
Yeah, didn't miss a beat at all. You know, and I still love New Order as well. So
Me too.
The perfect combination, honestly. I mean, if you think about it.
I mean, another.
Because Ian also brought in that element of darkness that the music didn't.
Oh, they wouldn't have been able to do what they did without
Yeah.
Ian Curtis.
No,
sure,
but I
no
mean,
question.
That's the perfect, combo,
Yeah, Ian Curtis without them wouldn't have sounded
No,
the same.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another example of like I mean, it's kind of out of the genre, but that's kind of what we're talking about anyway. Like the Misfits, like whether you're a fan or not, the songs are solid, even though the recordings are horrible.
Yes.
Just because they got that hook
Yeah.
and the sing along
Yeah, you wanna
parts,
sing
they're
to
like
it. You want-
they're good
you do. You wanna
songs,
sing to it,
regardless of
yeah.
how bad it sounds. You know,
All those early Christian Death albums were produced shitty.
Yeah.
Shitty,
Yeah.
man. And at least, especially the Valor, like the 80s stuff is not produced great a lot of times. I mean, but I like,
Try to produce a
I like
Italian
the songs.
goth band that mid '80s, and it's pretty terrible. Like,
yeah. Psychic TV records were like hard to, I mean, the music I would like a lot of times, and it's like, it sounds so dull sometimes, the production just wasn't great. But so what? But you're right on that part on Joy Division. The production, even with the kind of clunkiness of them, it still sounded good.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another track, maybe, or
Sure, let's do a Falling Sun.
Sure.
Yep. Rock on.
Just like bats whose wings unfurl, it's meant to be, we all must be. Summon me from the darkest part of night. It's time for your waking. Chiroptera calls you in its sight, flying higher than the ghost of tomorrow. Dancing webs of a spider. It's time to rise from the coffin. Witness now the death of the falling sun. Hear the voice in the distance. Shadows rule here. Strings of puppeteers, they fool you. They usher fear. They rave with fear. Time to dance in the moonlight. In the jungle revelry. Holding hands with the spirits with you. Release and be free. Release and be free. Summon me from the darkest part of night. It's time for your waking. Chiroptera calls you in its sight. Flying higher than the ghost tomorrow. Dancing webs of a spider. Flying into your soul. It's time to rise from the coffin. Witness now the death of the falling sun.
All right, so we ended up playing two.
One's for this?
The first one was The Falling Sun, and the second one was Our Love. What's the rest of
The
time?
very first one we played was.
Oh, he's talking about this
No,
too.
I
This
just
time
played
around?
them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. The last one is Our Love Has No Goodbye.
Yeah. I know we played a different shade first.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But that was a 2 in a row because we're running out of time. And I
Right.
still want to play some other stuff. And we're talking a lot. And it'll be 2 hours instead of an hour.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Do you want to play Naked Twister?
No.
Leave that to his dad.
My dad didn't like games either.
Love games.
He just liked to be naked. He likes to be free, god damn it.
So we were talking a little bit about the last song, and there's a little bit of meaning behind it. Is that right?
Yes. It's kind of a twofold deal. I was trying to kind of figure out what to write about, and two topics that I think is kind of a big deal in the country in the moment is, children in cages. It's a very atrocious thing, and
It's fucking atrocious.
It's, in my opinion, it doesn't matter where they come from. You can come from the moon for all I care, but a child should never be torn from their parents and then just stick into.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can call it concentration camps, whatever you want, but I try to tap into that moment, however, of when that child and that mother or father or family is torn apart, that very moment. And so, I can't comprehend that. So I try to, tap into that. And then I watched it was I don't know what you call it, like a conference or something. AOC Cortez was there and speaking, and they took questions from different people, and one of them was a gentleman from Haiti, and he was an older gentleman, but his story, he said that he was a firefighter, and he was there 9/11. He was there at Ground Zero, and his medical bills are on the verge of bankrupting him, and and because of the fact that he's from Haiti, he's in danger of being deported. Wow. So here's a guy who was there helping people, trying to save people, and he didn't leave. He was there from the start to the finish, and just to turn around and be told that, hey,
no, it's bullshit, man.
It's fucked up.
You're gonna have to check in.
We have hate for Trump and his administration.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
So-
and I, just for background and clarity here too, like I've tried to steer off of not talking about politics on this show too much, but we end up saying fuck Trump
Too
all the time.
fucking late, baby.
But just for background here, Abbas is a fucking Marine.
Yes.
I'm a standard run of the mill hippie art snowflake weirdo. Abbas is and a devil worshiper. Let's not forget. But Abbas is actually a combat Marine.
Yes. I'm a combat veteran. Been to Afghanistan, Kosovo, and different operations over time. And I have seen personally what humans can do to another human.
Yes.
And so, but one thing that really insults me is when there are men who are told, hey, if you come and you join and you fight for us, we'll give you citizenship, or we'll give you this, we'll give you that. And then years later, they're being told, hey,
get out.
You got to leave.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's
Fuck that.
extremely. It's beyond insulting. It's beyond.
I'm embarrassed, but I'm mad.
Right. And
Yeah.
I have many friends who, that I've fought next to in the fighting hole, and that's just a complete and utter disconnection and of understanding of what that means by individuals who are driven by their agendas. Try not to get too political here, but
It's okay.
point being, so I kind of tap into that because I take it very, very personally. So
Cheers. Yeah.
Well, unlike a lot of us that are just kind of, being like standard angry, spoiled Americans, you've actually earned a right to be political and fucking have some complaints about this shit. Fuck all this shit. But, yeah.
So if I can, be a voice for, someone in some way, shape, or form, I try.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
That's awesome.
Fuck Trump. Oh, I'm sorry. Not sorry. No.
Kan oturmuş bugün Yavaşça acıtıyor. Gire sulandı bakışlar üzerinde. İçimdeki ızdırap artıyor. Bir kez olsun karanlık. Sorsun adımı sessizce. Bir kez olsun mutluluğum. Kalsın benimle bu gece. Bir kez olsun karanlık. Sorsun adımı sessizce. Bir kez olsun mutluluğum. Kalsın benimle bu gece. Bir kez olsun karanlık. Sorsun adımı sessizce. Bir kez olsun mutluluğum. Kalsın benimle bu gece.
Well, through all this, I'm going to play some more Secret Sin stuff too. What do you guys think? We could do the new Scary Black single. Yeah,
Yeah.
let that rip.
That's not on Secret Sin though.
It's not.
But I thought
It's self-released.
but
Doesn't matter. He's on Secret Sin.
yeah, his
It's like,
his next full release will be on Secret.
and that's the same as what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a digital release for just like a kind of an in between,
Here we are.
and then we're gonna have an album that will be released by Secret Sin. But,
Yeah.
So Secret Sin, though, they're headquartered out of England,
Yeah.
and they came out of Angels of Liberty with Vo,
Yeah, those. Yeah.
and then there is an American distributor,
Yeah. David.
David.
It's really like David and his wife seem to be, together on everything.
Right.
Really great people.
And-
Cannot say enough nice things about those guys.
Yeah, they're very nice.
And then there is a Central America. Is it Costa Rica?
Costa Rica, yeah. Carfax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Last Dusk is his band. And then also, Red Apple Cult is from Costa Rica also. And I think Secret Sin is working on some more American bands. They just signed a band from Los Angeles. I don't remember the name of them. I don't think they've posted anything about it yet, but what I heard that they're really good. Very sounds like Roz, like Christian Death.
So that's what I heard. It you
Yeah.
sent it to me, and I thought it was very reminiscent of Only Theater of Pain era.
Yeah, and David shared with me some of their artwork, and it's really cool artwork. I think the guys in the band are doing the artwork, and I was really impressed. The artwork, especially. So, yeah.
I saw that post, but I was curious who it was. If it's a band I already know or not.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of them. I have to look. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Secret Sins has got a lot going on. I mean, it seems like there's. I know that they're. A while back they told me they were trying to sign. I think like 4 bands, and I think that there's more now. So I don't know.
Mary's Funeral's Turkish.
Yeah, they're from Turkey. Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I just remember the label. from the early part of this decade.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just pretty much Angels' Liberty releases before they got onto, like, when they're just kind of self-releasing their stuff. Then there's that band Snake Dance. They used to have that EP.
Oh yeah, that's a good
I
one.
remember
Yeah.
Snake Dance.
I can't remember if they had any other bands or not. Maybe one or two other ones, but it was pretty much just Angels of Liberty.
Yeah.
Label.
Yeah.
It's a Guillotine
Dream. Really good stuff.
Yeah. It's been expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll play some more of that too.
Cool.
It shook me yesterday. Who came to reach me? Such crazy things can happen, and others feel it too. The world was in my hands. There's nothing real to show. My nights stealing bodies, they liberate the soul. I'm sick of being human. I feel so alien. I'm merged with something strange. I came to tell you. Reach and touch the Daemon. Reach and touch the Daemon. And dreams are alien. I hungered long to meet you at the crossroad on the way. A life of silent questions, a ferry man to pay. I woke up to remember tall figures how to face. The hairs upon my neck, that thrill to seek you. I'm sick of being human. I feel so alien. I'm merged with something strange. I came to tell you. Reach and touch the Daemon. Reach and touch the Daemon. And dreams are alien. Reach and touch the Daemon. Reach and touch the Daemon. I'm stronger though you left me in trauma yesterday. Star-child of missing time, life severed upon the way. In shadows of the garden, grey wolves snarl and howl. In shifting light of Godhood, the serpent and the owl. I'm sick of being human. I feel so alien. I'm merged with something strange. I came to tell you. Reach and touch the Daemon. Reach and touch the Daemon. And dreams are alien. Reach and touch the Daemon.
playing some cuts, we probably should start thinking about wrapping this up so it's not like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
That seems to be our thing, though.
It does.
We started off shooting for an hour. Then I think we hit an hour and 15 or so. And then we went to like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing our longest episode with
Gary, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
2 hours and
Yeah, that was
45
long,
minutes.
But that was great. Though.
It's a great one. Yeah.
So we should shoot for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then maybe we can hit an hour.
Yeah.
There's just no way to fit in as much good music and some conversation and squeeze it all in an hour, we've discovered.
Dude, think of how long it's going to be when we get MC Hammer up in here.
Hammer time.
Das ist Hammerzeit. Too legit.
Yeah.
How are we going to end this motherfucker? Let's see. I think you guys need to talk more. What do you have to say? You talk more.
We could talk about what now your plans are. So you got the record coming out, but then what are you going to plan after that? What are your goals this, after?
Maybe some touring, possibly? Yeah, I think I maybe heard some.
What about that?
So, I have kind of started groundwork on a couple songs for the third album already, but it's again going to be more inclusive, so it may all get scrapped anyway. So I think Abbas is going to be more in on the writing too. So it's going to be fun figuring out how to do all that over the internet. We'll work it out. But anyway, so next year, we're looking at doing a tour with Scary Black and Sonsombre across the northern Midwest, I guess you could say is what that is. Can't say the dates yet because nothing's confirmed. We're trying to get on a couple festivals and possibly doing a week-long thing in Mexico City.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Who's paying for my flight?
Probably me.
Are you guys pretty popular in Mexico?
So I've been kind of, every time we go to Mexico, my wife, there's a couple of promoters down there that I go talk to, and I've handed them CDs. I think there's a magazine interview with us down there. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe when I go down there, I'll get my hands on it. So on Bandcamp, you can see where people are buying your stuff from, and Mexico is one of them. But I personally gave this record guy, I don't know, like 25 CDs, and they're all gone. So I told him, give these to someone you think who would really like them. So I think that Lord Fair has said that he's one of the big goth DJs in Mexico City, and he likes our stuff. So I don't know if we're popular. I know a lot of people are interested, and I'm friends with Eddie from Acid Bats, and last time I was in Mexico, I hung out with him, and so he really likes our stuff. I really like his stuff. It's actually one of the main influences I had for the first album that I worked on was Acid Bats, and we are talking about doing shows with them in Mexico, so it's probably going to be with Acid Bats, and I don't know who else. But I think that we would be well received there. I think that's like a great place for us to play. So yeah.
Nice.
So am I going to get like hotel rooms and stuff on the beach?
Mexico City is not on the beach.
It's not on the beach, man. Yeah.
I know.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there's a possibility of you beating Metallica's record at the Yum Center?
No.
What's their record, I guess?
They sold the most tickets in Yum Center history and in their tour history.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So they played.
That's fucked up.
One of the last times we were in Mexico, they were playing. Metallica was playing in Mexico City, and the tickets were like $16 American, and we were like, "Fuck, let's go!"
Wow.
But we ended up not going. I think we were just totally too tired from everything else we were doing. But when we came back on the plane, everybody on the plane were wearing Metallica shirts, and so it was like all Americans went down there to see them. Honestly, it probably was cheaper to pay for the plane and the ticket to go see them in Mexico.
So.
They bore me to tears.
Yeah.
I mean, the early stuff I like.
You know me. I'm on that party of the first 4 albums.
Right. That's the thing is like, and that's with so many bands.
Yeah.
I mean, Metallica is the U2 of metal.
That's giving him too much credit.
Well, I mean, we talked about that before. I like early U2. It's raw. It's got energy. It's, they're got a lot of passion. It's good. And it's just like, when you get rich, it's just like, let's just jerk off another album.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Bono's kind of a turd anyways, It's like, whatever.
Well,
I mean, he's done good shit, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of good charity things.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
But he was also in the Panama Papers when they busted all those people like fucking.
Oh, he was?
I'm thinking he was. Yeah. Maybe I'm throwing him under the bus here, and he doesn't deserve it. But I think there were a lot of like, I think a lot of common Americans don't realize, and just common citizens of the world don't realize how much money rich people funnel through the Caribbean and Central America.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you not want some of these places to be states and to just be territories? So you can funnel money through it.
Yeah.
Well, you can launder your money. And
the average American doesn't have any money to funnel, so I would.
Well, we don't. Of
we
course,
would never conceive this.
Right.
What is that?
I just saw recently. We're getting political again, but fuck it. Betsy DeVos was like in trouble, like for contempt of court, and they were talking about she might have to go to
She's the
jail.
worst.
Oh, she's the ultimate worst. And her brother's Eric Prince.
Yeah, oh god, he's the fucking worst too. Jeez.
Oh my god, they're dangerous.
They're really just bad.
They really
news.
are. They're
bad fucking news.
But she's not going to jail.
Of course not.
No, she's not.
Like you or any of us around the table.
Yeah.
Well, we do some contempt of court shit. We're in jail.
I mean,
like
even
right now.
Contempt of court? We're going to send you to Europe.
No,
all expenses paid.
No. What they do is they give her, with rich people, multi-billionaires, who, by the way, she has 10 multi-million-dollar yachts.
Oh, yeah.
And she's chasing students who, can't pay their fucking student loans and shit. It's
didn't they let one of
that.
her yachts loose or something?
Yeah, it got
They did,
vandalized. Well, that's what they
yeah.
discovered when after it was
fucking
vandalized.
sunk it,
Well,
Jeez.
no, it did.
They should have. I mean,
it did about 10 grand of damage, which is a pretty big deal from what I understood.
For a multi-million-dollar yacht, it's like nothing. She probably wipes her ass with that.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. It was a $40 million yacht.
It's hard to comprehend.
And they
didn't they let loose one of her yachts? That's a weird thing to say.
No, well, that's what caused them.
Totally.
No, but that's what caused them to investigate it in the first place. Was because it got vandalized. They investigated it and found that it was not registered in the United States of America. It was registered offshore. I think it was the Virgin Islands. So they also discovered that it was one $40 million yacht, and they discovered that she had 10. That's from what I read, and we're obviously not journalists,
Right.
but from what it's these billionaire motherfuckers that want to go after, some students who can't pay their fucking student loans.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
Fucked up.
Didn't they start releasing marshals or something to arrest people for student loan debt in Texas or something?
Wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
The Gestapo is here.
Yeah.
Fucking, they're fascists. Fuck them.
So, a minute ago, we were talking about you guys being well received in Mexico City.
Yeah.
So, where else in the world besides the U.S. and Mexico are you well received? Because I've heard that Europe is a thing.
It's mostly Europe and Mexico.
As far as album sales.
Yeah.
And T-shirt sales too.
Yeah.
Most of the T-shirts I've shipped have gone to Europe, various parts of Europe, which is really cool.
Is there any particular country?
Germany and England seem to be the bigger ones, which Germany makes sense.
And so does England.
Yeah, England makes a lot of sense too. So that's one thing is we've had some offers from a really big band to open for them in England, but I don't know how we're going to afford to do it, and it's a bummer, but if one day we'll get there. So I don't want to say who it is, but
was it Wayne Hussey?
No.
You know what though?
Was it
I fucking
Hasselhoff?
love Wayne, man.
I really do too.
I do. I love Wayne.
I listen to Mission all the time.
Early Mission. I mean, I've listened to interviews with Wayne too, and I think he seems like super down to earth and nice, like
And
awesome,
vampires.
awesome guy.
We're on a mission again.
Yeah, we're gonna have that debate.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Eldritch versus Hussey at some point. But
Yeah, I think what we kind of talked about, and this is just nothing serious or anything, but the idea would be focus on maybe Mexico City this year and then try to do something in Europe next year.
Nice.
So that's the idea.
where's the money coming from?
I don't know. Maybe me.
Betsy DeVos, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of
Cash
like,
that fucking yacht in.
I'm willing to go wherever, but I'm like, when you have, of course, jobs, and I'm part of this running this business. I mean, you know, this is probably getting too personal for the podcast. We can cut it, but short trips, like for a week or two, seem doable.
Yeah.
But like we just did wingtips here, and they've been on the road for like almost 2 months, and they're going to go do more.
Yeah,
It's
I can't do that.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
But like
A week here, a week there.
I mean, unless there's some money there, you know.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And regional is always a thing, but like going to a foreign land, not that I'm opposed to it, but that takes some time and money.
Yes. Yep.
Dude, if you haven't watched it, and it used to be on Netflix and it might not be, you need to watch the story of Anvil. They were like one of the original like kind of glam metal bands that like jump started that whole scene into popularity, but they got left out. Everybody was copying them, like Motley Crue, all those people, and then they just were never popular. And then they're like, you know, older than us, and they're still trying to break big after all this time. And it's like they're setting up these tours in other countries, and like 3 people are showing up.
Oh,
I mean, it's a great documentary, and you feel bad because you're just like, just give up, guys. But like, but they're like such nice guys. You just like really feel for them. It's good. You should watch it.
What it comes to a point. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah,
You know,
The Finnish?
I can't remember where they're from.
Anvil, you said?
Anvil, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I seen that.
It's a good documentary.
I was thinking they're from Finland, but
more music.
I think they were playing that Finnish festival. mean, they're well known. So they were like,
Oh yeah, but they never.
They sound
go
familiar.
Big. Yeah. One that shows
Anvil?
Yeah, Anvil.
Canadian. Yeah.
That's
Toronto.
They're too polite.
1978.
Well, it's sad because they like borrowed money from their family, like in their 50s, 60s, whatever it was, and they cut a new album, and then we're like trying to pitch it to record labels, and like they're damn near rolling their eyes at them, like this shit's like 40 years old. Nobody listens to this anymore.
Oh man,
it's pretty awful.
Oh.
Poor guys.
Yeah,
we love you.
Yeah.
you ever watch Heavy Metal Parking Lot?
Oh yeah,
I love that.
that thing's like a cult
Classic, man.
now, yeah.
That's a fucking classic. Yeah.
I don't know, Matt. Have you watched the Thor documentary?
Yes.
Also awesome.
Another Canadian hero.
Oh, is he Canadian too?
Have you seen what's the movie he was in?
I haven't seen it.
Rock and Roll Nightmare.
Rock and Roll Nightmare. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I haven't seen that.
So you guys got anything else to say?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for
fucking coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ew.
Yeah. That was fun.
And really, thanks to anyone who listens to our music and buys our stuff. And,
for real.
Yes, thank you.
it's honor.
I think we're all involved in different ways with that, and it's like cannot be grateful enough to the people who come and support bands and buy merch. And I know that most of the people they're broke too.
Yeah.
And it's like you're like, damn, I need to pay bills, but I'm gonna buy this concert T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
Got my shirt. Yeah. That's something I always do is buy all the shirts. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, but that's like we're in an age of streaming, and there's no money in that for bands unless you're super duper giant, maybe.
Spotify will pay you like $1 for like how many thousands of listeners?
Right? It's like was it like 0.0008?
I'm retiring tomorrow, or yeah.
it was one of the best returns.
Yeah, it
I've
is.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we collect like they take a percentage, PayPal takes a percentage, and we take the rest. And I want to say it's like 75 or 80% to the artist. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's also a direct line, but that to me, Bandcamp is like real music fans.
Yeah.
Like, I use it every day, but
Yeah. Me too.
But like streaming is like light music fans.
Yeah. Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
because like.
Well, so it's interesting.
You pay $10 a month and you can listen to any album you want to,
Yeah.
and it's like you don't have
anything.
I know.
There's so much shit not on
So,
those
so
things,
what's something
yeah.
interesting about
YouTube.
that-
You can find it on YouTube most of the time. Not everything, but yeah.
One of my good friends I grew up with, he moved to the Netherlands and he lives over there. I think he's a citizen now. And,
Thomas.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, we know Thomas.
Okay, so last time I talked to him, he told me that pretty much everyone in Europe listens to Spotify for everything, and he said that he doesn't even listen to his digital collection anymore. He just listens to Spotify.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. I mean, in different parts of the world maybe look at these things differently than we do.
But Thomas is missing out on so much. I mean, there's so much on.
Thomas is a music lover, though.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Thomas.
Thomas is
an eccentric, and he's cool. He's smart. He's
Yeah. Thomas is responsible for getting me into underground music entirely. I remember being like 14 years old at his house watching the Skinny Puppy Dario Argento video and just blowing my freaking mind. I'm like, whoa, what is this? You know, and then made this transition into industrial music from there.
I mean, I often think if I weren't involved in it so much, would I actually purchase things from Bandcamp like I do?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is because if I'm going to be playing this stuff on a podcast or in a club,
yeah,
I feel like I want to purchase it and own it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's like when you're playing hundreds of songs, you know, it can get a little expensive.
Sure, yeah.
But it's just like we could totally just stream it all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't buy everything in Bandcamp. I mean, it's a good tool to stream new albums.
Yeah,
right.
Find new stuff.
Right.
I can just go through like Code Wave releases, the most recent, blah blah.
Yep.
Here's
Death
a
Rock,
gigantic list
Goth
or
Rock.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I can see the newest stuff and just kind of browse through the stuff.
And see what
Right.
you want, and see what you want to buy.
Yeah, and I'll listen to something for a while and be like, you know, I really like this. I have to have it or something. Or, you know, oh, they have a vinyl. That's mine, you know.
To go all the way to vinyl, I mean, I have to really really, really like it.
Yeah. I mean, I probably bought some vinyl that I probably could listen to once and never listen to again. But
well, I mean, if we talked about before when I was younger, like when CDs were taking over, I bought vinyl.
Yeah.
Because people were dumping it off, so you could buy stacks of it for nothing, you know.
I'm doing that now with CDs.
Right, everybody is. I mean, CDs have no value now. Yeah. And,
Discogs, CDs.
yeah. So, but now it's like that She Passed Away release this summer was $35.
Yeah, and you know what?
It's like, that's expensive.
I bought that, and I don't think I got it in my hands for like 3 months coming back to
right, and it's great, but it's like, it's kind of like it's
$20.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right, and I know that the band wasn't getting all that. Yeah, it was shipping. It was shipping.
To ship one record to Europe, it costs like an LP is normally $23.50.
Yeah, that's. And I mean,
to Europe, although coming from specifically Germany,
you can get
for whatever reason, Germany they have the DHL,
cheaper.
whatever. It's way cheaper. It's like six or €7 or something.
Yes.
You know, it's not bad.
Yeah, but the rest of Europe is because
it's very expensive. Italy and Spain are notoriously the worst.
Poland,
Italy,
and, some of the Eastern Europe on Discogs, I buy stuff from there, and those seem to be worse. Finland too.
Exorbitant.
Really.
Normally one CD now, the Europe is about $14 or 1 7-inch for me to ship it there.
What's funny about that She Passed Away album is the second I saw it was for sale, I bought it. I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
And then I'm waiting. The show in Tampa comes up. We go to the show.
You could have just bought it.
I looked at the vinyl at the show, and I'm like, I should buy it. And then the next day it came in the mail. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
No, he got his before I got mine.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they must have had some, because you got the same color as I did. I got the violet one.
The violet.
I got violet too.
So I think they must have gone maybe by name, like last name or regions or something. I don't know.
I remember when I got it.
I just remember he posted he got his like maybe a week before I got mine.
Okay.
I got mine literally the day after we saw them play in Tampa.
And I saw,
I mean, before then.
But I think a lot of people.
Video. I remember I watched that. Yeah.
There were a lot of people posting that they received it, so I was like, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you, like everybody was posting that they got it.
Now the coolest thing was the stamps on the box. It was really cool. I think it came from Greece. I want to say.
Yeah, Fabrica, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've gotten stuff packages from them too, but they don't always put they do it all in stamps.
Yeah, and they're really beautiful stamps.
Yeah, they are.
And Russia has some really great stamps too. Not that I collect stamps, I just really like, it's cool. It's cool. Like, where's this coming from?
Yeah, that is neat.
All right.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to finish this off with a freestyle.
Just the other day, an angel stopped
Radio Arcane.